Welcome to Conversations at the Crossroads, the podcast where spirituality meets the beautiful, messy experience of being a human. I'm Jenny, a tarot reader, Reiki practitioner, witch, mentor, hairstylist, and the voice behind Hex and Hair. Each week, we gather here at the Crossroads to explore spirituality, personal growth, and the tools that help us navigate the ever-evolving human journey. Some conversations will dive into the mystical, others will be more practical, and sometimes we'll just sit together through the hard stuff. Along the way, we may explore ideas that challenge us and stories that shift our perspective or practices that help us walk our path with a little more intention. So, wherever you're listening from, take a breath, settle in, and join me on the Crossroads. And today we have with us Miss Marcelina Hardy, or Marcie as her friends know her. That name might sound familiar because she is the one who walked me through or did my past life regression with me. That was super amazing. And it was so great that I wanted to have her here. So Marcie, what are all your titles? Because you've got a lot of hats that you wear.
Yeah, I really do. So I am a certified life coach, but then I'm also certified hypnotist, but I'm a metaphysical practitioner because I have my master's in metaphysical science, but I'm working on my doctorate in metaphysical hypnosis. So that is why I have 50 titles. And at one point I'm going to just pick one or two of them. But I'm also a counselor.
I didn't know you had a master's in metaphysical science. That is so cool.
Yeah, it is. I can marry people too. So I have that too. So I'm actually a minister. So
Is that what church is that, like through the Universal Life Church or?
no, it's the University of the Metaphysical University.
Oh,
University of Sedona.
okay.
It's a subsidiary of that.
That's really cool. I'm ordained through the Church of Nome. I think
Nice.
I've told you that before because
Yes.
for Reiki in Virginia, you have to be ordained in some sort for laying on hands for healing. So I got ordained
I didn't know
through
that.
the Church of Nome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I did level 1 for Reiki. So see, I
Hey?
coming. But no, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But you already have that box ticked,
So I
so
guess,
that's super cool.
yeah.
So has hypnosis kind of always called to you, or how did you get on the metaphysical path?
Okay. So no, but when I was in high school, I had this passion of going to school to become a therapist, and I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist specifically, but I also wanted to be a professor. So, I went on that journey of getting a BA in psychology, and then I went ahead and got my master's in counseling, but I married someone in the military, and that means moving around a lot, and then you have to get licensed in every state you live in, which was not going to happen because you have to do different things and it's just a lot of work. So I I was side railed to a different career in digital marketing for the last 20 years. But within that time, I also got that certification for life coaching, and I did some recovery coaching for people who have addiction, of course, but they went to Mexico to get Ibogaine to help them with the withdrawal symptoms when they're like wanting to recover. And I would help them when they came back home stay clean and sober. And then so I used my life coaching for that, but then I also did some digital marketing for stuff like that too, because it's always been my passion. Anyway, so one day I grew up Catholic, first of all. One day I was walking and I said, you know what? I really specifically want to know what happens when we die, right? So I started looking up priests and like dying and and nothing. Like I could not get 1 ounce of specifics except for you're going to heaven. So I was like, oh, let me just like randomly Google it without putting like Catholicism in it. And lo and behold, the many masters,
Many lives, many masters. What's that? I
that's
have
it.
it right here.
I know.
Literally.
I saw you take it the other on Tuesday. I saw you take it.
Yeah.
It's
I
amazing.
grabbed it because I was like, I've been told to read it. So yeah.
There you go. No, you have to, because and the journey of souls, that was the other one. So I listened to those books and it was like the biggest eye opener. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to do a past life regression. Now this was like years ago. So then I don't understand what's happened, because back then I had to look high and low to find somebody who did past life regressions. I finally found somebody, and she was actually really well known with Edgar Casey. So went to her, had my first session. I woke up and I remembered that I was like, oh my gosh, was that real? And then I said, that is better than therapy. So that's it. Like, I was like hooked. I'm like, this is what people need to help them with challenges in their life. Because it's one thing having somebody else across from you telling you things and giving you advice. It's another thing when you're actually giving yourself that advice. It obviously means more. Like, we trust ourselves more than we trust others. Well, most people. So, yeah. So that's how it all started. Then I was like, oh no, not regular coaching anymore. Because I was doing career coaching too for people, helping them with their purpose and finding, a career that aligned with them and everything. But this is like so much deeper. We're not just going off of like conscious mind and like what you think you should be doing. Oh no, we're like diving deep into the soul level so you can really find out like what you're meant for and what you're here for.
If
So that's
somebody didn't have any idea about like the past life hypnosis, future life hypnosis, all of the things that you kind of do through hypnosis, if somebody didn't know anything about it, like what's the one thing you would want them to know, like what it does or how it works?
So usually how I approach that is, a lot of people know about their higher self, or they do have some sort of connection to a higher power. So it's one or the other, or subconscious, because, it's trendy, like reprogramming your subconscious and understanding what the subconscious is holding on to that you don't know and all that. So I can approach it in that way. And it's not like I'm going to like bring them down a road and then go, we're going over here to past life regression. No, we don't do that. But it all intermingles together. So, like, your subconscious is the access point to like your higher self, your higher power. Or if you do believe in that or you want to do that, you go into past lives, or you can do future life progression, which is, envisioning your life in the future. Now, with each side, whether you believe it or not, it does not matter, honestly. It's what you get from it and the feelings you experience that truly make a difference in your life. So a lot of time, and that's actually what my regressionist told me, because out of one of the sessions I had, I was like, is that like, is that true? It was the one that I found out that I'm like my great grandmother. And it was so profound to the point that I started crying. That's when I woke up and I'm like, wait, so since I'm like so emotionally invested in that, and I had like no idea at all, is that real? Like, am I really my great grandmother? And she goes, does it really matter? Because what you walked away with, the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that you're, you know, really processing right now, isn't that more important than trying to dig deep and understanding whether or not it really is a thing? And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I've always remembered, like, so it was a life of not a very good marriage life. So, my husband wasn't really great with me, and like it was doing things that I never had the courage to leave him and all that stuff. And then you always go to the last day of that life, and the last day of that life, that message that I gave myself, because she asked me, she's like, if you could give yourself a message now from back then, what would it be? And I said, never again. And I always remember that, because I've always, in this lifetime, I have always been very hot when people talk about like affairs or abuse, especially like spousal abuse. I am like, I flip like a switch and I'm like, oh no, that's over. That's over. No, we're not,
Yeah.
we don't stand for that. And I always
Which is the
wonder why
healthy
I had like
perspective.
such a rage for it, but that would be why. Never again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you would think that would be like the common, sentiment, but they say that it
Oh,
takes, on average, it takes women 7 times to leave an abusive relationship, like
oh,
seven
yeah,
active tries or like making plans. So,
I believe it.
being able to be steadfast in this lifetime from that. And yeah, the last day of your life, like when we had our session,
Yeah.
that was like, and it was interesting because it was one sentence. The truth doesn't always matter, but it was so much more than what that might sound like to anybody else, because like with that sentence, I also had this like whole download of knowing that came along with it was like a computer
Yep.
command, like because I knew it wasn't like in a pessimistic way. It was in a way that was like people are going to see what they want to see, so you may as well be true to yourself anyways.
Right. Right.
And that was like the most profound thing that reflection that I don't think I would have accessed that. I mean, I logically knew that, but the way it unlocked for me in that moment was totally a different feeling.
Yeah, you resonated with it, like,
Yeah.
on a deep soul level. There you
Yeah.
go.
So with future life hypnosis, how's that different from past life regression?
So, with past lives, you kinda wanna know what it is that's blocking you in this life. So, like, you've carried something from either one life or many lives that you are in this lifetime to conquer. You're supposed to overcome it this time, especially like if you've had many lifetimes where you're trying to like achieve some sort of mission and you can't do it. It's like that's going to teach you what it is that usually comes into play that blocks you so you can look at your life now and be like, oh, that's what's trying to get in my way of doing what I really am supposed to do. And then once like knowledge is power, once you know it, you can start planning for it. Because if you don't know what's in your way, like what are you planning for? You just don't know what to get out of your way for. But with future, it's kind of like the opposite. It's so you are looking into the future at either one or two lives. Many people have two. One is like they've chosen one path and that path is fine, but sometimes there's just something not quite right about it. Like they don't feel like it really aligns with what they truly are meant to do. But then sometimes they'll go to another one that is in line and they can feel the difference. It's like so profound to be like, oh, so if I commit to doing what I need to do now and not allow the blocks that I have, which could be a past life or could just be a current life block, then I could have that type of life. But if I don't, I may be okay. I just won't be as fulfilled and satisfied with it. So, but then I've had some people who just go to one where it's like this is what your life. I just had a client the other day. Like this is what you're meant to do. You feel it in your gut that this is what you're meant to do, but look, now we're going to show you what that really is so you can feel it. And that propels people so much. Well, the other one does too when they see like, oh, there's this one life that they really could have if they just pick the right path to go down. But it's something else when so the client came in and she's like, I have these two awesome opportunities and I know which one I want. Like it's not a decision of like which way I should go. It's just that I don't know what the future will hold if I decide to take this one path that I really, 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 really want to do. And sure enough, it was almost like her subconscious was like, oh yeah, you need to go down this path because this is what your soul like planned for you. So let's show it to you so that you don't like go into the safe zone and decide to do this like job that's fine. You'll make a lot of money. You'll do a lot of great things, but you ain't going to be that happy. Not as happy as if you go this way. So,
Yeah,
so she
it's
left and she
almost
was like, "Woo, I'm ready."
it's it that reminds me a lot of, I don't know exactly what thing I did that I got this download, but it's been on my mind a lot lately, and I just feel compelled to tell everybody that I've come across that's like making a decision or in a precipice moment that like w- when you want something or get excited about something or get passionate about something in this lifetime, you feel that that's a soul response because it's what you're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing. And I, I at one point, I mean, and I still probably fall back into it sometimes, but I've been a person that always is like, should I do this? Should I not? And like
Yep.
trying to overthink, over calculate, and like kind of held back out of fear of failure. Whereas now I'm like, if I'm excited about it, I'm going to do it because it's probably something that I should do.
Yep.
Um, so that like, that makes sense. It's like a way of your soul knowing, like, it's almost like a hot cold meter from inside.
Yes, you're right. It's like you're getting warmer. Nope, nope. Getting colder, further away. Yeah, it's so
So,
true.
so like hot take, what if a Christmas Carol was really actually a like self-hypnosis situation of future and past?
Oh, yeah, totally. I bet you if we looked into it, that would come up. Now I feel like I need to look into that because I bet you that is a
Like the
part of
ghosts of
it.
Christmas past, the ghosts of Christmas. It's like he looked at his
Yes.
past and how he got to where he was, and he looked at his future and what it
Thank
could look like if he didn't change, you know?
Thank you for making that connection because you know I'm going to use that now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really good analogy, I
It
think.
really is.
So, was there a specific moment where you like knew this was your calling? Because I feel like a natural at it. Like
Oh,
I've always been worried that I couldn't be hypnotized because I'm a little bit of a, guarded person, but like just about the way you talk and the way you do it, it like guides you in so easily, I think.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
So you know what's funny about that? Okay. So, okay, so how the first question was, how did I know that this was meant for me? The feeling, like what you just said. Like my mantra this year is go with the feeling. So if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it feels good, do it, right? And I have been living according to that, and woo, has it been a ride. But I digress. Every time I do a session, I will not even lie. It's literally a like something inside of me jumps for joy. Like when I was training a couple of years ago, like I was doing like free Zoom ones and everything, and like I would leave my office at home and like tell like my family. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing thing ever." So that's how I know. I never felt like that with coaching. Like I felt good. See how the difference is though? Like I felt
Mm,
good, but now this
yeah.
is like exciting. What was your other question? Was something Oh, my voice. So I'm from the north. I am very loud. So I'm also Portuguese, which if anybody knows Portuguese people, they're loud. But so when I was I pursued the path of getting my license, but then they told me I had to go back to school for like few more classes. I kept getting blocked, let's be honest, for a reason. Anyway, so I took level 1 and level 2 of like traditional hypnosis, and how about the first criticism I got was my voice. They were like, "You need to work on your voice because it is not hypnotic." And I will tell you, like, of course, anytime you hear criticism, it's like, oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if I can do this. I don't know what happened, but something inside of me clicked. And when I went through my like past life regression training, it like appeared out of nowhere. It like literally, I didn't practice. I will tell you honestly, I never practiced. But all of a sudden, it was like, oh, is this what I'm supposed to? And then when I was doing the sessions, I was like, it's working. People are getting hypnotized. Oh, that's that the way you're supposed to do it?
When did you start? well, I should mention we're in a mediumship training course together. And so and when I came for my session, you mentioned like you were talking, you had gotten some stuff from my guides. So when did you start having communication with guides? Like when did that come up? Because I imagine as a Catholic, that must have been kind of like, oh,
Oh
what is
yeah.
this?
No, it really wasn't because I thought that everybody had it.
Oh,
Like I grew up like talking to God, talking to Mother Mary, talking to like well, that was basically it. But like I talk and they respond and I thought that happened to everybody around me. And then one day like somebody told me, "What? What do you mean like they're like they respond?" I'm like, "What do you mean they don't respond to you?" Like I say something and then it's like someone else is saying something back to me, like a conversation back and forth. And they're like, "No, no, we just pray." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's what I do." And then that just kind of led off to being like, oh. So then, of course, through the past life regressions and all that stuff, I was reading other books and then it was like, oh, wait. Then somebody said something about automatic writing. So I tried it one day and it was a little crazy because then there was that book I saw, Letters to God or something, or Conversations with God. That's what it was. And I was like, oh, I should try that. So I like would write like a question and then all of a sudden I'd just be like answering it, but I'm not answering it like, oh, let me see, trying to figure it out. Like, what is that? No, it literally is fluid. Like, I just start writing and I'm like so fast at writing. I don't even have a time to think about what's going on the paper. And it just started going off. And so for the longest time, I couldn't communicate with guides or anybody without writing it. But I worked on it and now I can. So, yeah, I'm actually having that
that's
automatic writing workshop tomorrow.
automatic writing. I've heard is like a really great tool for developing your psychic connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't really quite understand how it works. Like I will tell you that there was a time in my life where, I was going through a certain personal challenge, but it was like family related and my family is like Portuguese. I would start writing in Portuguese and it made sense. And I'm not fluent, like at all. Like I can do it, like I can survive when I go there. But when I was writing, it literally was fine. Like it was good and it was fast. So it's like, where does that come from?
Yeah, because
It's got to be coming from somebody else.
when it's a secondary language and you're not fluent, it's like it takes a little bit to like you have to think about the thing in English and then what does that translate to and then you put the sentence together. It's for me at least like because I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I grew up in Northern California, so all my
Yeah.
classes were bilingual until like sixth grade, and
Yep.
I was just always around Spanish. And then I took Spanish in high school, so like I can read it okay, and I can understand it when people are talking, but like I can't formulate words. I can't
Right.
formulate sentences.
It's so
Um,
hard. Some
yeah,
people have it so easy, just flows
that's
out of their mouth. And I'm like, oh, that's really great of you.
but that's cool that when you're like channeling that. So at Trans Circle that we also do at the Holistic Treehouse, when you're channeling, do you ever feel like it comes through in other languages or
Yeah, no, I haven't had that yet. Wouldn't that be crazy though? That would be awesome.
what was it like the first time someone else's guides came to you that was like not anything that you were used to, or what has there been something like that?
Okay, so here's the thing. Before every session, I sit in a particular spot on my rug over there, and I'm like, it's right there. Um, and I meditate, and I bring in my hip guide. That's what I'm calling him. That we agreed that that is his guide name, hip guy,
He's hip,
HYP.
but
But he
he's
is,
hip,
and
but it's
that's
for the
where I
hip.
got it from. Like the first time he came through, I'm like, who are you? Like may not be old enough to know this, but the Breakfast Club, that
Yeah,
guy
absolutely.
who, yes, with the long hair, he's
Judd
kind of like
Nelson.
that, like just hanging out, like against a wall, like not caring. Doesn't look like he's like ready to work. Okay. And I'm sorry. I know. I got you. I got you. I'm sorry. Okay. So, but I'm like, what are you here for? And I'm here to help you with hypnosis. I'm like, so he's basically a gateway guide though, because what he does is when I have somebody coming in, I'll be like, okay, so send the people in. And it's going to be like you have like two people. Sometimes it is. Maybe sometimes it's one. Sometimes it's a ton. Like I was like, what is this? A conference? Like sometimes a lot of people come. I mean, the other day I didn't have any people come and I had a big light. Like this huge light came through and I even asked Tip Guide. I was like, what do we got going on here? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll find out.
Do the people that come through usually have something to do with the past life that that person goes into?
So no. And they don't talk to me. So that was my whole point is that you were saying when I connect with other people's guides, they don't actually talk to me. They don't say anything. They're literally here for support. But when I'm doing the past life regression, and once that person basically steps into wherever they're going, I do feel like I am led by them. Like they
Mm.
have some sort of agenda to help that person. And then I lead through them because there are times in the session when I'm like, okay, I think I need to move this person forward or I need to move them to another time. And they're like, no, just wait. And I'll be like,
Okay.
I'm waiting. So yeah. Um, and then I'm not quite sure if it is their guides or if it's my guides navigating, but there is something going on. But you know, since you
Could
mentioned the
be.
whole mediumship thing, I mean, I got other people coming in for other people, but you know,
Yeah.
not the
Not
hypnosis.
necessarily in regards to the hypnosis. It's a
Right.
different channel, essentially
Yeah. Oh,
like a
see?
walkie-talkie channel.
Yes. You're learning.
With different lives, like, because like my question about whether or not it's people from the lives that these people are going to go to, do you find or can you tell if it's like souls are together in multiple lives, like groups of people or just a couple, or like how do you feel that works?
Oh yeah, it's totally soul families. Usually when I lead somebody into a past life and there's a person there, I'll ask, like, does that person feel like a person in your life now? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. And honestly, most of the time it's a spouse. So if they're like in a past life and it could be like it literally could be another role. Like it could be a son, it could be a random person, it could be a best friend, it could be a spouse, it could be the same, but they'll be like, yeah, like I feel like that's my husband or my wife, and I'll be like, there you go. So
I
yes, we
I
roll
think I
the same.
remember you asking
Mhm.
me that, and I don't know if I answered, but when I reflected back on it, I do kind of feel like it feels weird to say that I feel like the little boy who was my son was my
Say
husband.
yes, and it's not weird. It happens.
Same
Yeah,
energy, at least.
there you go. Then it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you're looking for that. Yep.
Yeah. That like gentle and like, because I get very protective over my husband. Like,
There you go.
um,
There's that
he
mother
somebody was
instinct.
mean to him at work, and I was like, I guess that person's going in a jar because how
Right.
dare you be mean to my husband? Like, because he's such a gentle, sweet
Right.
being. So I get really protective over him.
I know. I know. And see, it's all about the soul contract too. So, like,
Yeah.
then you, like, kinda try to, like, figure that out. Like, why did he come back as your son this time? I mean, as your husband this time and was your son last time? Like, there's some lessons that you were meant to learn or he was meant to learn from that difference in relationship. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, thinking back on it too, because if anybody listened to that episode where I talked about the like 2 episodes ago, I went through the journey that I had, then they'd know that my husband in that lifetime had died, and then I was thrown into the water to be tested if I was a witch, and that was the last day of my life. So I'm assuming I drowned. But I wonder where the kid was for that, because
I
like,
know.
that means that he was left all by himself.
But maybe he wasn't a kid anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't fill out age or time. Like,
Right. That's what I
it'll
was
be,
gonna ask.
it's probably something we'll have to explore more, but I'd love to see the future life progression from, how would you explain, because I know we've talked about it, but for anybody who's not familiar with hypnosis, or like if they are familiar, it was like at a carnival they saw a person on stage like putting people out, like um y- and that's not necessarily, in my understanding, what hypnosis always is. So how would you explain hypnosis to people?
Yeah, so it seems as though I am guided towards areas where there's many myths and speculations and all that good stuff because I went down the mental health route and everybody has, opinions about that. And now I'm doing hypnosis and definitely a lot of stereotypes on that one. But the thing is, it's like that's not real. Like I never have control over anybody. Like hypnosis, it's like self-hypnosis. You are in total complete control the entire time. You can even wake yourself up if you really want to. It might take you a little bit because it's like you're really, really, really asleep. Like if you've ever woken up from a nap with the alarm, then you know how it feels to be like, oh, like dragging yourself out. Well, that's exactly what this is. And like, I would never be able to extract information that anyone does not want to tell. I read a study that they tried to hypnotize criminals to see if they would confess. Guess what? No, they did not, because they totally have control over what they're saying and what, they're doing. To that respect, like you can move the whole time you are talking when you're doing hypnosis with me. So, yeah.
I was able to remember, which I
Yeah.
do. I click out a lot in deep meditation and stuff. And I didn't. Um, and I was able to remember, and I'm sure it's like the further away I get from our session, the more some things feel a little like foggy.
Yes.
Like I have to try a lot harder to like drop back into that memory. Um,
They serve the
but
purpose.
yeah, I remember when I woke up, I didn't feel like I had lost time or there was anything that I was like, oh, what was happening? Do you have people that don't remember or
No, I mean, most people remember everything. It's the reason, though, like what you just said, it does start to, drift away little by little because they serve their purpose. So, like, you process the information, you don't need it anymore, and then it's lifted. And it is actually part of the hypnosis and the integration part is to release what you no longer need, and then keep what you do. But that's why I always recommend recording it, even though your guys decided that you didn't need to listen to that again. And that I have heard happens like many, and I can honestly tell you, I haven't had it happen except for you. But
yeah,
yes.
it cut off like
Yep.
right as I was opening a box and in the box was a light. And as soon as the light was in my hands,
That was it.
that it
Because
cut
that was the
off.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? And there was no battery dying. There was no like nothing. It just stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. So weird. Like the technology, and
Yeah.
it just makes me wonder more about the science behind the woo, right? Because
Yes.
the further we get in science, the more confirmation we have about the woo stuff like
Yeah.
this, like with Reiki, like the double blind studies that they did about Reiki, and even through telehealth, people who received Reiki were better by huge margins
Yeah.
than the people who didn't. So like we're getting science, but um,
It's
with
energy.
the technology and the electromagnetic frequencies and
I mean, energy is science.
yeah, did you learn much about that kind of stuff with your metaphysical degree?
Yeah. It's all about framing your mind and your perspective. And if you're able to turn your perspective around and understanding that you don't have as much control as you think you do in this life, then you can start to understand and let go of what is coming. It's really like nature and the stream. Like the stream is going to do what it's going to do. And you have rocks and boulders, like challenges in life, but like the stones start to become smoother and smaller as the stream comes through. That's our life, and that's the way we're meant to live, is to go with the flow and adjust accordingly to what happens. And that's a lot of what, like, the education that it was around was, like, reframing the mind in a way that is much healthier, because the more you resist things, the worse it is on you, because
Yeah.
things are gonna happen regardless. Yep.
I fully agree. I've in my, in my 20s, I feel like was the time that I had to really learn that no matter like how hard you hold on and white knuckle things, if they're not meant for you, they're not going to stay. And I was like pretty I don't want to say infamous because I don't know how many people really noticed it besides myself, but a habit that I had was holding on to relationships way longer than I needed
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, I
holding
get
on
that.
to situations, staying in bad jobs way longer than
Yep.
I needed to because I just wanted to feel like I had some semblance of control over the decision.
Yep.
And the more I learned that like whatever is supposed to if that person's not meant to be in your life, they're not going to be in your life, and you're just causing yourself pain by prolonging
Yes.
keeping them there when they're not supposed to be anymore.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I can totally that like we all need a little Elsa energy and let it go.
No,
Like
let it go. Actually, it's so funny because I have a sign up on my wall that says, "In the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you."
uh,
Look at that.
beautiful.
But it's so hard. Ugh,
Yes,
the human
it is.
experience makes it very hard.
It is. Being human, I know, and I'm trying to appreciate it, right? Because I know, like, I had gotten a message from Spirit. I think I told you about, and that when I was in a meditation of like, hey, stop trying to tune out of the human experience so much because the reason you're here is to have those highs
That
and lows of feelings.
yeah.
So you're not gonna you don't feel in such a great spectrum of
Mhm.
highs and lows when you're not living a human life. Like when
Yeah.
you get into other dimensions or however you want to shape it, it's much more of an even keel, calm knowing. So like experience what you're supposed to experience. That's why you signed up to be a human this go around.
So weird that you say that, because I had a client come in and she wondered if her excitement over things in her life was blocking her like manifestations. And she's the one who had that future life progression, and she asked her future life if her excitement now was blocking her. And that future self of her said, "No, that is total BS. Be excited, because someday it's just going to be normal and you're not going to feel that excitement and you're going to miss it." And I was like,
Mm,
wow, that's something
yeah.
for all of us. And, and the other thought is like, our soul chose to come here. Our soul, like, was like, let's go to Earth. Let's do this. It's going to be so fun. And then we get here and we're like, what?
Yeah. Do you ever get information about people's soul contracts or about your own like what's your like experience with that?
No, no, not for others. I guide people into their soul contracts because a lot of them have been able to open that up and really understand the relationships in their lives and the meaning behind them, and then understanding what their soul contract for that relationship is. But no, I don't do the readings, although I've been told that I have some special connection to past life that I can, if I go down that route, I could come up with people's past lives. So we're still exploring that. But
Yeah.
no, I can't dive into the soul contracts of others. And I do wonder if there is some sort of block there, you know? Like maybe
Yeah,
it's
like
meant for people and their like way of getting in to understand it, because they'll resonate more with it.
well, it's almost like cheating on a test, I feel like if you know
Yeah.
exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, then you miss out on all the challenges or all of the things that you're going to go through to narrow it down and learn along the way. You know, if you just know point A to point B, you're not going to pit stop at C, D, E and learn those things along the way that will get, you know, make this so
It's
much
so
more enriching.
easier. It would just be easier, though.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yes, you're right. I mean, there'd be no point, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep my head down and do what I'm supposed to do. But I think that's part of the journey is
Yeah.
not knowing. That's why we don't remember, I think.
Yeah. I know. I know. I know.
So if there was like, what do you wish people understood about their soul's journey?
That challenges aren't meant to slow us down or block us. They're actually meant to help us, which is so hard for a lot of people. I mean, including me. It's just hard for the human experience to understand that. Like every challenge, and I'm talking about even like death of loved ones and all that, because every single thing that happens, it's meant to strengthen us. It's meant to increase our faith and belief that there is something bigger than us and that we are just meant to stay even keeled and love and like continue on this path learning from each and every single challenge, because there's a lot of people who get stuck. They like had something horrible happen, or yeah, they just had something horrible happen and they can't let it go. And I'm not saying, oh, you should just let it go. No, when you're letting go of something, you're going through it and you're learning from it, and then you're moving forward with that added strength and knowledge and wisdom that's actually going to help you with the next challenge and the next challenge. People who can't end up carrying that weight with them, and then when they hit another challenge, it's like, oh my gosh, like then they're just getting buried and buried and buried. um the success is being able to shed each challenge. Be like, got it. This doesn't feel good, but I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to let it go and I'm going to move on. I'm going to do it
Hmm.
again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. And you know, honestly, in the end, that's what your soul wants you to do. So there was this metaphor once that I heard about the soul before the soul comes to earth. There's a jar full of marbles, and those marbles are the challenges and the lessons that somebody is meant to have. And then there's another one, and this is the incarnation that that soul is about to have. And they go through it and they go, I think I'll have this one this time. Oh, and then we'll add that one in there and that one. So then by the time you leave this earth, your mission is to have all those marbles successfully completed. Like you've gotten through all those challenges. If not, guess what? Then your
Again, you'll
jar's
have
not
to,
so empty, and you're gonna have to like put it back in the other jar, and okay, the next one, or we'll put this in again and again. So
yeah.
yeah.
Man, I wonder how many marbles are in my jar.
I know, right?
I'd like to, I hope they're all pretty colors at least.
I mean, the picture I saw was pretty colors, so at least there's
Cool.
that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
Oh, so I am Intuitive Clarity Hypnosis. Go to my website, intuitiveclarityhypnosis.com, and then you can find out tons of information about me. You can go on Instagram. It's the same name. It's the same name everywhere. Hey, search Google and you'll
Yeah.
find me there too. So it's very
And
easy.
you have the automatic writing coming up. Do you have any other big like things coming up for people to look out for?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna start doing a lot of online stuff, like one thing a month. And it's gonna be a lot of group like hypnosis and like discovering the differences between intuition and ego and doing like soul contract, and then having like a mini group hypnosis during those sessions online. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, so usually I end the episode with giving people journaling prompts or reflection questions. Do you have any you want to add?
Oh, this is perfect. Think back to your most recent challenge. What did you learn from it? What strength are you carrying forward with from it? And how does that feel now? Like, do you feel like it's in the past, or you're still carrying something? If you're still carrying something, you haven't learned the full lesson yet.
If you have any other ones, I can add two from you and two from me.
What aspects of your life have you not been able to explain? And that you wonder if that's from you're carried on from a past life. Like, I'm afraid, or not afraid, but I have anxiety when water gets up to here. And I have a past life where I was drowned. So, yeah. Or I have
Mm.
headaches, and I have a past life I speared somebody in the head during a war. So, things that you have that you can't explain where it came from likely are from a past life. So think about what you have in your life that is not explainable.
Beautiful.
All right. This was fun. I can't wait to see
Yay.
it. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for sitting with Marcie and I on the Crossroads. What was the last time you got really excited about a potential path? Did you follow it? And if you could access a future version of yourself, what would you want to know about? What would be your first question? If you'd like to find more of me, you can find me at Hex and Hair on all of the social media platforms, spelled out HEXANDHAIR. I put out a new episode wherever you're listening from every week. And as you move through the week and reflect on these things, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, be curious, and I can't wait to see you again on the Crossroads. Bye!